Welcome into another edition of Bama Central 3 and Out with Mason Smith and Joey Blackwell. I'm Katie Wyndham. Mason, you've been at Alabama Soccer Stadium all weekend long. It was a big weekend for the Crimson Tide, winning in the second and third round of the NCAA Tournament, which means that this Friday they will host the Elite Eight against 2 seed Duke. The Crimson Tide is obviously the 1 seed. So I think you could argue that this is the biggest game on the Alabama campus this week. There's also the Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa on Saturday, but this game has a couple more implications, and it's the first time in program history that Alabama has reached this point in the NCAA tournament, and it's pretty far. So Mason, since you've been covering this team, why don't you go first? Just kind of talk about what the vibe is around this team, this program, and kind of what the expectations are for Friday.
Okay, the vibe around this team is that Alabama soccer could really pull it off. They really believe that they have the talent and the know-how all the way down the roster to really compete with the nation's best in soccer. And one thing that's really important about this Elite Eight is that it's four ACC teams. You have Duke, Florida State, Virginia, and North Carolina that are all in the Elite Eight in their respective parts of the brackets. So ACC has really been running the soccer table for as long as we can remember. So with Alabama being able to kind of, bring a knife and just cut that down, that would be a really big, boost for not only them, but possibly SEC women's soccer as a whole. But one thing to keep in mind, though, is Felicia Knox still leads the entire NCAA with 19 assists. So I think that's one of the many factors going to lead to Alabama having success is the amount of weapons with Knox, Riley Madeley Parker, Gianna Paul, when she starts or comes off the bench, and then that stellar defense led by Raina Reyes and Sasha Pickard, and of course McKinley Cronin goal. They have a lot of weapons that really just this might be the team to do it. This really might be the team to break the ice for Alabama women's soccer in the national tournament.
Yeah, Katie, and going back to what you said about this being the most important game of the week on the Alabama campus, on one side we do have the Iron Bowl, which of course Auburn's bringing Cadillac Williams as their interim head coach, could be their future head coach. Who knows at this point with how much Auburn fans really like having him there. And then on the other side, you have an Alabama team that's been essentially eliminated from playoff contention. That they're trying to take the season one game at a time. They're not going to SEC championship games. So no playoff hopes on the line for Alabama really in this game. So that'll be interesting to see. But contrast that to this soccer team that, this is the first time they made it to the Elite Eight. This is already has been a very historic season for them. They still obviously they don't want it to end here. And Alabama fans shouldn't want it to end as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, not just an Iron Bowl, but watch this soccer team on Friday. If you don't have anything to do on Black Friday, be sure to tune in. That's going to be a lot of fun. College soccer is a very underrated sport, and hopefully this season has gone a long way in developing the Crimson Tide fan base for it.
Yeah, and like we've all talked about all year, this has been a historic season for them, winning the SEC regular season, going undefeated in SEC play during the regular season. But even if you don't keep up with the sport of soccer, or have never watched an Alabama soccer game in your life, I think you can appreciate the fact that they're in the Elite Eight and how challenging that is to do in any sport. Even the Alabama basketball team 2 years ago that had a magical run, it ended in the Sweet 16. Alabama softball only reaches the final eight when they make it to OKC for the Women's College World Series. And, Joey knows it's been a long time since baseball has reached that point of the World Series in Omaha. So it's a big deal to get to this point, and it'll be an even bigger deal for them if they can reach the Final Four. That's something that a lot of programs have never accomplished, including this one. So, and it's, pretty cool that the game will be in Tuscaloosa on Friday night. But that'll about do it for today's Famous Central 3 and Out. Thank you so much for watching.